So this might be very late, but I felt like it's worth it around this time to talk about this movie. But I'm finally going to share my thoughts on what I thought of James Wan's latest movie, Malignant. It's going to be coming out in 4K later this month. I might grab it, but let's see what life hits me. But I'm going to share my initial thoughts on this movie. It's a blast. I love it. Screw whoever doesn't like this. You may be expecting a very serious movie, but I freaking love it. It's just a very fun, energetic, great ride. I will easily go back for. It very much reminds me of films like Freaky or Fright Night. Basically any F horror movie, I guess. Or what's another one? Happy Death Day. It's not, but still from Christopher Landon. But those movies all have like this very high, stable, energetic thrill ride that I just love about them. And this movie has that very same campy sort of tone with it, and I love it for that. So it's definitely not your typical horror movie, as it finally does what not a lot of horror movies have been doing lately: camp. It goes campy. I love campy crap. I love just watching a solid B movie like Overlord. Not to self-do Overlord, because very underrated movie. Love those kind of movies. I will easily go back for more and easily bump them up to an A- if I can, because they very well deserve it sometimes. So yeah, I will definitely easily say, watch it if you can. If you're a horror enthusiast, watch it. If you like James Wan's movies, go watch it. It's not just a horror film. It even feels like an action film too, with the thrills and the car chases. And oh my god, that freaking bloody violence they got, well, spoiler, Gabriel doing. So yeah. Easily go watch it already if you can. But overall, what did I think of this movie? For a return, I'm not going to say this is a return to form, but it is nice to see James Wan going back to the horror genre. But I'll easily say this: I absolutely love it. But it's not perfect. Let me go. I'm going to touch on the not perfect stuff first, because I love too much about this. So I'm just going to keep this as simple as possible and just do the stuff first and then go to the oh yeah stuff. So what I think doesn't work, it's like there's 3 different modes I see in this movie. And it's really interesting too. It's like the first third of it feels like your typical haunted house movie with also that mental institution opening scene. But you gotta love the fact that the opening credits give you what this movie is actually kind of about. The music, the visuals, and just the way it's overall executed perfectly demonstrates you an example of how this movie is gonna play out. So easily, if you know what kind of movie you're gonna watch, check out that 10-minute preview that Warner Brothers Entertainment just posted. Watch those opening credits. Let me know what you think, because the movie pretty much has that exact same vibe. So if you're into that stuff, you'll know you'll be into this movie. But yeah, so again, it's like, for something that's so campy, it doesn't really know how to properly blend all these different genres in. Unlike something that's like Freaky or Fright Night, they know when to like have a scary moment but then add some comedy to relieve you of that. I see that a lot of days now, people doing what I like to call horromedies, basically what you blend in horror with comedy. I love the fact that I just like calling it horromedy since there's something like dramedy out there, so why not add that in? So yeah, they're all horromedies. This is something like it, but it's just way too campy to be considered a horror-comedy, so I'm just going to call it a very campy blast of a horror movie. That's what I'm going to call it. You know, I'm just going to call it what it is. It's a B movie. I love B movies. So that's what I'm going to call it. I don't know if it fits that genre, but it's the only way I can perfectly describe it. So yeah, it's like, unlike those movies, it doesn't really know how to properly blend it in, so it just categorizes it to acts, and it doesn't really work. It just gives you one genre that automatically moves to another. It keeps like that until they automatically change it again. It doesn't always work, but I went past it and I was able to enjoy it despite of that. But yeah, I will admit, it does feel kind of off that the first third is like your typical haunted house, mental institution, edge of your seat kind of vibe. Like I saw it on my home theater on HBO Max, and I actually felt like I was in a movie theater. It was that good in terms of that section, but it is your typical stuff. You know what you're gonna get. These people doing stupid things that you know stupid people are going to be doing in a horror movie. But then they go to the second act, and this is where it gets a lot more interesting. Right? It doesn't do that stuff, and it just, again, starts doing this other stuff, where it just starts hinting, okay, something else is going on here. But it also starts leading to this obvious twist that they're gonna do, where it's like they're hinting that Gabriel is, I've been saying hinting at here, but they do confirm it in a very surprising way later. I'm gonna go into very big spoiler territory on that. But for now, the hint that he keeps saying that he is the main character, I totally forget her name at this point. But point being that he is related to her, in terms of Gabriel. It's like the only one I remember. But yeah, so they hint that he is related to the main character, but they don't exactly say. They more so suggest it and leave you to it, but we all know he's going to be related. It's just that obvious trope. Come on, you know? We've seen it a bunch of times. It all started with Empire Strikes Back, with the main character having to be bodily related in some form to the antagonist. We've been seeing that all over nowadays. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but the way it does... that's a different story. But yeah, it does, and it goes all out with the gore. The main character actually starts seeing the murders, as it hints that she has a connection to the murderer. So they go into that, and it's really fun. It keeps you interested. It keeps you intrigued, too. It knows how to keep your attention. It knows how to keep you invested. It gets you, you know? It's definitely a lot more entertaining to watch than Disney's Just Beyond series. The first episode, I will admit, kept me entertained, because it was like, yeah, it does have me questioning it, but it gave me an unsatisfying ending. It was like, oh yeah, it's for kids, come on, let's just do it. No. It definitely is not like this here. The main character does do crap. It gives you your typical ending, but it's not done in a way where it's like, oh no, everything's fine, we're not going to deal with it again. And more so because of the fact they're done with this. It just ends at the fact of which it just ended. They're relieved. They're like, oh god, I don't want to go through that again. And that's it. But other than that, ending with her seeing the murders and then going to deal with the killer. And then it starts, but then there's the twist. And the twist, very big spoiler time here. If you do not want to hear the spoiler, please exit this video immediately, as it only gets much more spoiler from here. So sorry, if you haven't watched this and I already told you way too much, but please leave now. Okay, spoiler time. So, what is the twist? Well, the twist, it's a real good one at that, is not only is Gabriel related to the main character, but is actually a parasite which resides on her actual frickin' back. What the frickin' hell? Sorry about that, but literally, what the heck was I watching there? I was like, what? Oh god, I was like, easily one of the most perfect executed twists, as my mouth literally dropped while watching it. Oh crap, I was like, what is this? Oh. It's kind of like it's just a lot like you kind of see the twist. Unlike other movies where you see the twist and they just do it as you expect, they definitely don't give it to you as you expected. They play around with it. And I love they did that, because it just goes a full-on ride for me. It's like you're watching a freaking action movie. And I freaking love it. There's plenty of blood and gore. The action and the violence is top tier. You definitely know you're not going to get a lot of these movies out there in the future. So thank you, James Wan, for giving me that experience in this movie. But either way, it does also deal with the fact the main character always had Gabriel in her life, which was also back there. Hence that, oh yeah, she's connected. But now, apparently, she's also physically blocked out by Gabriel as he takes over her body. He was actually doing the killings in her body, which I guess was why she could see all the killings in the first place. Which doesn't lead everything, you know, but whatever. And again, the movie does end with the fact that it's all over. There's no epilogue. It's like, oh yeah, everything's good now. No. They let you soak in the fact that they freaking won. They don't want this to happen again, but if it does happen, they're going to get ready. I just love they did that. But now, it's time to get my score. My score, I think, is going to be probably 4.5 lightsabers. Very good. I'll definitely go back to this once it comes back to HBO Max. Again, the main problem with this movie is that it doesn't properly blend in all these different genres. And I admire the fact that it is trying to blend in these genres. I love unconventional stuff like that, where it tries to just sort of mesh all these different genres together so it all fits. Love stuff like that. Fright Night did it, the remake. I love that. I never saw the original, but too many people crap on the remake, so I checked it out, and oh my god, was it just too much fun. Greg Gillespie, you made a heck of a movie, and I'll always be going back for it. So that's my consensus on Fright Night, and knew how to properly blend in horror and comedy. Made the most perfect horror-comedy. Love that. Same with Freaky, with Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. They were amazing in that movie. They knew properly how to level the manage of horror with gore. And the very freaking comedy. I love the comedy. It was a great horror-comedy. Definitely going back there for another round soon enough. But again, the main problem with this movie is that it doesn't know, unlike those movies, how to properly blend it all together. That's just it. If it wasn't for that, I would easily give it 5 out of 5. But thanks to that, I'm going to have to reduce it, though not by much, by half a lightsaber. Sorry, movie. You didn't get me fully loving you, but you got me mostly loving you, so give it credit for that. So that's my opinion there. What did you think of Malignant, the new horror film? Well, I should say B-movie, though. From James Wan. What did you think? What's your opinion? You love it? You hate it? You will go back? You're going to watch the store on Halloween? Tell me. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I will definitely be doing more horror-related reviews for Halloween in the future. Tune in whenever you can, as next time I'll probably be doing Fear Street. Oh yeah, I'm going to be doing that.